Hey guys, welcome to this session by Great Learning. My name is Anirudh Rao and I'll be your instructor for this session on data science. So we're going to be taking a look at data science and understanding where you should get started if you guys are beginners and a lot more things. But then guys, before we begin with this session, just go to the chat box and just type in a quick yes if you can hear me fine, and of course if you can see the screen fine, and we can go on to begin the session, right? And guys, while you are doing that, make sure to put down all of your comments later down in the session as we get started as well. I'm monitoring all of your comments on my mobile phone, so I'll be standing by here waiting to receive your questions and of course answer them as soon as I get it all right. So guys, head to the chat box, just put a quick yes, and in the meantime, while I do see yeses, well, that's perfect. I see a couple of yeses. Ravi says yes, AKS says yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in from wherever you are joining us on this beautiful day here in Bengaluru. This is a very important session that we're going to discuss. There's a lot of things that you have to know about data science, and especially if you're beginners, it becomes very tough to go ahead, right? So we're going to be checking out a lot of important things. But before we dive right into the agenda of the session to take a look at what we're discussing, I have a surprise for you all. Now, guys, here is a nice venture that we have here at Great Learning called as Great Learning Academy. Now, I'm going to take a minute of your time to walk you through what I'm talking about. To start out with, Great Learning Academy is one of these places where you would be coming for if you are a person who's in school, who's in college, who's about to graduate, looking for a job change, looking to increase your skills anywhere that you are, in your career right now. Great Learning Academy has something for you there. Now, what we talk about, the most important part about Great Learning Academy is that we provide 200 plus courses in multiple different languages, absolutely free of cost for you guys to learn. Now you can sign up for free, of course. You can enroll yourself into any number of courses for free. Again, you can complete all of these courses, and guess what? You can get a certificate of completion absolutely free as well. How amazing is that, right? So you get the knowledge and you get a certificate of completion. Again, all of this is absolutely free. Fun fact is that we have 700,000 plus learners who join in for somewhere around 140 different countries who use Great Learning Academy. We have somewhere around 1,000 plus hours worth of free learning content, and of course at the same time we get 3 million plus monthly views on all the content that we have, right? So to begin with, to walk you through the page, if you keep scrolling down, you'll take a look at all the upcoming live sessions that we have. For example, you're tuned into my session. My name is Anirudh Rao. I welcome you all to this session, and if you keep scrolling down, on the left hand side you'll see all the domains in which the courses we have, and of course the courses themselves, right? So we have three levels of courses. We have a beginner course, we have multiple intermediate course, and advanced courses as well. So depending on what you want to learn, you can pick either, or of course you can work on all of them as well, right? So as you can see on the left, we have a variety of different sections which definitely you can make use of. Now, since we're talking about data science, let me quickly open up data science here, right? See, we have multiple courses on data science foundation, data analysis, probability for data science, statistical methodology. So you can see here, right, this is a beginner program, while one is an intermediate one. There's an advanced program as well. So depending on what you prefer, you can pick it up, right? So let me just click on one of these data science foundations. You can find out all the details about the course. Of course, you can enroll for free. You can see how many learners are registered for that course as well, and you can check out the entire course syllabus, and upon completion, this is the certificate of completion that you guys will be presented with. Right now, this is going to add an immense amount of value to anyone who's looking to hire you. Of course, you can put this everywhere. You can attach it with your CV, you can put it up on your LinkedIn profile, you can share it with employers to showcase that you have put in some amount of time and effort into learning these concepts, right? So it's a very important thing that you take a look at Great Learning Academy, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, there's multiple places where you can, especially if you are in a place right now where you're looking for a job interview preparation kind of a section as well. Well, we here at Great Learning Academy have that too. So we have free live courses which will prepare you on soft skills, aptitude, technical interviews, and everything. Again, all of this is completely free, guys. As you already know, you can have an immense amount of advantage if you connect and use the material we have here for all of you guys, because when we create content, we make sure it is structured, we make sure that the subject matter expert is at the other end of it teaching you guys, so it adds a lot of value to you to learn as well, guys. Now you can reach the great learning you can reach our great learning ecosystem using multiple places. Of course, the website is the most simple one. You can do a Google search, and conveniently we all use our iPads and mobile phones these days, so you can reach us via the great learning app as well. You can get started with all of these things. The great learning app is available both on the Android Play Store and of course the Apple App Store also, depending on what you're using, an Android phone or an Apple device. It just becomes very convenient for you guys to reach out to Great Learning Academy. Right, guys, perfect. Now I welcome you all again to this session on data science for beginners. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, and of course hit that bell icon, because every time you hit that bell icon, whenever we put out a video, you'll be the first one to get notified of the same, right? That's a huge advantage for you when we have important videos, and of course when we're creating all these content that you're looking forward to learn and everything, it adds a lot of value for you to be in touch with the channel, right? So make sure you guys are subscribing. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, as always, you are an amazing audience, so we would appreciate some likes. We have a lot of people tuning into the session, so do take a second to like the video and share it among your friends as well, right? Perfect, guys. Now we can get started with the agenda of the session, right? So what are the takeaways on this particular session? This is going to be a very important session, so make sure you guys are paying a good amount of attention, right? First of all, we will understand what data science is. Now, once you know what the domain itself that we are looking at, how vast it is and everything, I'll give you some very good examples to talk about data science as well. Now, after that, we need to understand, okay, so we know what the domain is, but why is it that this is required, right? So we're going to take a look at why, data science is required as well. Once you know what it is and why it is required, you will be curious to find out how it works, right? So we're going to take a look at the entire architecture that governs the world of data science. And once you understand the architecture, it is almost like your curiosity builds up to a point where you want to understand all of these individual components which go into the architecture themselves, right? So we're going to check out all of those components. We're going to check out the architecture. We're going to talk about a career in data science, and at the end of it, of course, I'm going to walk you through some very important things, specializations and all of that. So make sure you guys are tuned in till the end of the session, right? So guys, again, if you have any questions anytime during the session, just head to the chat box, just put them down. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you all. Now, to talk about data science, right? First of all, I want to give you a situation. Let us say you are on a vacation. Right now it's summer, so people usually tend to go on vacations and all of that, and of course it's hot and all that, I understand. Right, so when you go on a vacation, let's say maybe you and your 15 other friends went on a vacation. You of course had a lot of fun, you clicked a ton of pictures, and now you want to upload it all on social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatnot, right? Now when you have a lot of pictures, when you have a lot of friends in each of these pictures that you want to upload and manually tag them, it becomes a tedious task. Now, if you've been in touch with these social media sites, there's one amazing feature here that not a lot of us notice, is the automatic tagging feature, right? So, for example, Facebook has the capability to look at the face of a person, analyze who they are from their profile, and suggest their profile and automatically tag their face for you in your photo, right? How amazing is that? First of all, Facebook has to find that person to see if he or she has a profile. Are they in your friend list? Does it match with them? Sometimes it tags incorrectly as well. This happens in maybe 20 or 30 cases, but yes, but it does give you an accurate result in the remaining 29 out of those 30 cases, right? That's an amazing statistic. It is it is one of these things that I believe is adding so much convenience in our life that we don't notice that it is that revolutionary, right? It's an amazing thing. Face recognition is absolutely brilliant. It has numerous applications, right? Again, so how does this entire thing work? How does it know where to get the data from? How does it know what to see? How does it know how to tag it for you? How does it know if it's correct or not? All these answers lie in one single domain, and this domain that is governing this kind of a nice convenience, a nice application in our life, is data science itself, guys. How amazing is this, right? Now, I want to talk to you about another very nice, fascinating application. Think about weather prediction, right? Now, weather prediction is one of these things which was very, very important, probably a lot, probably a couple of years ago, when they didn't have news, when they didn't have Google Assistant to tell them what the weather is like and all of that, right? Now, it's a very simple thing. Yesterday's weather is fine, you lived through it. Today's weather, we are going through what's going on. But what about tomorrow's weather? How can you predict tomorrow's weather, right? Now, the most simplistic way to do it is probably understand what season that you are in right now. Just go out, look up at the sky, and you can make a good guess to see what it's going to be like. But then again, if you're in a place like Bengaluru, the weather is pretty unpredictable, right? So it's very sunny. It's hardcore sunny in the morning, and what happens is during the afternoon it starts getting cooler. In the evening, it showers. There's like a lot of rain. So in that particular case, if things are this kind of a finicky thing, how do you predict it? First of all, there are meteorological departments who are doing a lot of things to give us weather predictions and a lot of important updates regarding emergencies as well. But one thing that you have to know, we are at this point in time in our life where weather prediction has been easier than ever before, right? So you can predict the weather, you can find out what the weather is like tomorrow, next year on the same date, 5 years from now. You can make a very rough guess. It's not a guess, it's basically powered by data. It has a lot of data, and using this data, we tend to give out these predictions, right? You're trying to predict the future using a concept of information technology called data science. How amazing is this? Now, it's fun to talk about just predicting the weather tomorrow. There's a very nice application here which I am a huge fan of. It's about emergency services as well, right? Now, think about the situation when an underwater earthquake happens. What happens, right? So it's a tsunami, and tsunamis are devastating. It's the force of Mother Nature, which I don't think anyone can go and stand up against and stop it, right? You can do all that you want to stay safe, but at the end of the day, if there's fury coming in from Mother Nature, I don't think a lot of us can do a lot of different things. But then you can prepare for it and you can evacuate or go to safety and all of that, right? Now, when there is an earthquake detected, especially if it's an underwater one, all the coastal cities, go into an emergency. So they sound alarms and they make sure that people are moving away if there's a tsunami threat which is imminent. Now, in that particular case, now all of these processes is actually automated right from the detection of an earthquake, till the alarm sounding and making sure that people are going to safe. All of this is now an automated process where it doesn't really require a lot of human interaction. There are algorithms which are put into place which realize as soon as that there is an earthquake, there's an underwater earthquake, just sound the alarm and make sure people are safe. It is rather good to be safe than sorry, is something that we have all grown up with, right? And here's an application which fantastically lives up to that saying. So this is a very important thing that you have to know. And again, all of these things, weather prediction, emergency services, photo tagging, all of these are just 3 or 4 nice examples in a domain which can provide thousands of applications probably every single week or every single month. That is how fantastic this domain is, right? So, now that you know what is happening in the world of data science, I'm sure you're curious to find out what the domain itself is, right? So, guys, you head to the comment section and you let us know about what your take is on data science. While you guys do that, let me explain. Now, data science is actually a study, guys. It's a fantastic domain in which we take in raw data and convert it into something which is very useful and which we can use for our results. Now, when I say raw data, when I say information, you might very well be confused and not understand about what data is and what information is, right? So let me clear things up. First of all, whenever you're taking a look at data, you have to understand one very important thing is that not everything that is present in that data is useful to you. Of course, a majority of it is going to be useful, but something there, right? It's something that you directly cannot consume. Now, if you bring home a packet of chips, you're going to eat the chips, right? You're not going to eat the packet itself. So, all in all, to bring you the chips, it was useful, but to you eating it, the process is not fulfilling. The same thing here. You're going to require something for your machine learning algorithm or something that's going to come bundled with the data. But after a point of time, that thing is no longer in use. So it becomes noise. It becomes useless data. So you taking in data which consists of things which we use and which we won't use, and eventually converting it to an entity where we are 100% sure saying, hey, this is useful. This just went from raw data being converted into useful information, right? So that process itself, the entire process, no matter how you do it, there's a million ways to do it. It's called data science because you're trying to do sciencey stuff with data is a very informal way of saying it, right? Again, I always take up a lot of examples to explain whatever I go on to talk about. So here's another nice example. Whenever there's holiday season, right? Whenever there is Christmas, New Year, and all of this, what do you think sells the most? Chocolates, cakes, sweaters, Christmas trees, all of these different things, right? So if you are a person who has a shop who wants to understand, how will I know how many customers are going to walk into my shop, right? Now it might so happen that people will eat a lot more ice creams in the month of in summer rather than in peak winter, right? If you are a person again selling an ice cream, having an ice cream store, how would you know how much of stock that you have to picking up? Because at the end of the day, it's a food item. It will perish. It will not have a very long expiry period so that you can keep it on the shelf and have it be okay for the next year or something, right? So to figure out how many number of customers that come into your shop, if you're a chocolate seller, an ice cream seller, or whatever it is, to get all of these information, you might say, hey, it is not possible. Well, it is possible. You can take a look at the previous year's numbers. You can take a look at the past data, the last year's data 10 years ago. You can find a pattern. You can use your competitors' data to get a good number of guesses in as well. So in this particular case, to say that, hey, can you predict the future using data science? I think you already saw it in the previous slides. The answer to it is absolutely yes. So you can predict saying, hey, I might expect 10 people to come into my store. So let me stock in to make sure I'm ready if 15 people come in. So in that way, you are ready and you're not losing customers, right? If you only had 5 ice creams to sell and there were 10 people, you just lost 5 customers. You never made any money on that, right? So that's an important thing that you have to know. And doing all of this, governing a beautiful application such as this is again the world of data science, right? Now you understand, okay, let me just take up all of your questions in case if you guys are putting down any. Anshuman says, sir, I want to join institute but financial problem. Do they offer any program? Well, Anshuman, I highly suggest you check out Great Learning Academy. Great Learning Academy is a fantastic place where you get courses built by subject matter experts absolutely free of cost. So I'm sure you can use it to get started with the domain that you're looking forward to. Right. Satvik says, do freshers get hired or data science? ML will only recruit 3 years plus experience. Well, Satvik, it depends on the product that you're working for. And of course, see, it depends on the skill that you have, obtained, you have garnered across your days, right? A 3 year plus compulsory requirement for a machine learning engineer's role can also be filled by a person with 1 year's worth of experience if he has the skills to beat the requirement for 3 years, right? It is not a concrete requirement everywhere that says you have to have 10 years of experience. If you have 5 or 6 years of experience and you have the knowledge and you think you have these skills to beat everything that is put up in the job requirement, I definitely think it is accessible. And to answer your question, no, not really. Freshers have access to a lot of roles in the case of data science, in the case of data engineering, data analysis, and of course in the case of machine learning as well. You just have to look out for the right listings and I'm sure it's there. Right. Maksud has a very nice question. Why data science is called the sexiest job of 2021? Well, data science, it is exactly what we are going to discuss, right? So let's find out why it's supposed to be the most sexiest kind of job, right? So why do we require data science? I think to understand this, you have to go back in time, first of all, to realize the amount of data that we used to generate and the amount of computing power that we had, right? Now, I'm sure all of you guys who are, joining in on the session, you are aware about the landing on moon that happened in 1969, right? July 20th, 1969, humans landed on the moon then. What's fantastic is the achievement, of course, but the next thing that you have to take a look at is the computers that help them guide to another very different planet, moon, whatever it is, right? So the entire computer was running at somewhere around 2 megahertz. The computers that we have is literally thousands of times faster because my computer runs at 4 gigahertz or something like that, right? So whereas 2 megahertz, 10 power 6, 2 gigahertz, right? Again, giga is a lot more than mega itself. So in that particular case, the computing power has just gone thousands of times better, right? Sorry, I just moved ahead. Yeah. So take a look at the amount of RAM as well. What is the amount of RAM on your phones, guys? Tell me. It'll be 1 GB, 2 GB, 4, 6, 10, 12, all of these things, right? For example, the computers today, the computer that I use has somewhere around 64 gigabytes of RAM. I know it's a lot, but we do have the capability to use it. Now the amount of RAM that took entire mankind out to the moon was somewhere around 0.004 megabytes. It's not even 1 MB, it's 0.004 MB, right? Now, as I told you, today's computing power is somewhere else. From the 1970s, whatever 50 years we have had in terms of computers, it's amazing. So why do we require data science today? Here are some very interesting facts which you might not know. First of all, we send somewhere around 310 billion emails out there every day. 310 billion every single day, right? What is the world's population? 7.58 billion people. Look at the amount of mails that are being shared every day, right? So just this emails itself, a simple entity, is adding so much to the data. And if you're wondering about, okay, so what is the entire world even generating every day? We are generating 26 lakh worth of terabytes, right? 26 lakh terabytes worth of data every single day. 26 lakhs. Now, my computer has a storage somewhere around 4 terabytes. So I take probably a year or 2 years, even if I fill it up with movies, games, and whatnot, it definitely takes me 2-3 years to fill up 4 terabytes worth of data. Now, if you're generating 26 lakh terabytes every single day, imagine storing it, processing it, and all of that, right? But one advantage here is that for you as a person who's looking towards the field of data science, it becomes important that you understand more the data, better is the solution. So why do I say this? First of all, it so happens that data science is one of these fields that thrives on data itself. If you have data, if you can feed it to your machine and all of that, and if your machine can decrease the workload on you, well, more data is usually directly relative to how a machine learning model or an artificial intelligence entity learns. It can learn better. So this is an advantage, and to tackle this huge data problem that we have, along with all the most powerful computing technologies we have, data science has become very popular today, guys. So the next thing that we're going to discuss is about taking a look at the data science architecture. Data science architecture is a fantastic thing that you guys definitely have to learn about, and there are 5 very important steps. So it goes from left to right, as you can see on your screen. We begin with data acquisition, then move to data pre-processing. We have machine learning, we have data visualization, and we have the process of deriving key insights as well, right? Now, what usually happens in the case of guys, I hope all of you all are noting these down. These are very important points, right? So the entire architecture works based upon this. So to go on to govern and to talk about what each of these things do, let us take a look at data acquisition, which is step number 1, right? So when you say data acquisition, what do you mean? Data acquisition talks about bringing in the data to the organization. Now, you're a part of a company where you're trying to solve a problem. To solve this problem, you're going to require some data, correct? So to bring in this data, you might be looking at data from multiple sources. Your data might be sitting on someone's Twitter. It can be YouTube analytics. It can be your competitor's data. It is on your server. It is on a cloud computing platform. It is, on an on-premise server, anywhere else for that matter. The first step in data science is to make sure you can bring in the data so you can use it, right? And again, whenever the talk is about bringing in data, you have to understand that there's various types of data that we can bring into the organization. So it's not only amount of data, it's also the types of data that you have to look at, right? So whenever you bring in a lot of data, the most important thing that you have to understand is how can you store it and work with it. So step number 1, if you guys are looking towards learning data science, is to understand that there are database handling tools which are very important for you as a data scientist to know about. So you will store all the data and keep it ready to make sure that it can be worked upon and processed in the next couple of stages. So what are these next couple of stages, right? Step number 1, after gathering the data, is to make sure you can pre-process it, clean the data. Why do I say that? Well, I spoke at the start of the session of how you can go on to use data to its fullest ability if it's clean, right? Now I'll tell you what happens if you send an unclean data set into a machine learning algorithm, right? So see, we are trained from our childhood to know what is what, right? Now I can look at a picture of a cat and I can say, hey, that's a cat. I can look at maybe 10,000 pictures of different cats and I can point it out that saying, hey, all of these are cats. But your machine learning algorithm will not know what's a cat, what's a dog. It doesn't even know an entity called cat or a dog might exist as well. In that particular case, if your data is incorrect, it can look at a picture of a dog and say, hey, I am 100% sure that's a cat. Well, it's incorrect, right? Now I just gave you a very simple fun example to think about, but if you're looking to have a critical application on your machine learning algorithm, and if it starts giving you all these incorrect results, it can be devastating, right? So for example, when there's a tsunami that's going on, machine learning algorithm reads that and says, hey, there's no tsunami. So, well, it's a pretty bad thing. To make sure that first of all that your data is correct, right? First of all, make sure your data is obtained from the correct sources, the right sources. After that, you just have to filter out what is required, what is not required. How do you throw away the data that's not required? How do you keep the data which is not noise and all of that, right? So majority of the data is useful. It's not like you're going to throw out 95% of it and only use 5%. It's actually the opposite case, right? Now, as I told you, data being cleaned in step number 2 is very, very important. In this entire architecture, right, in this entire life cycle of data science, the most amount of time is usually spent to clean the data, because here itself, if you don't clean the data later down the line to ingest it, to work with it becomes very, very difficult. So this is a very important steps, and even for professional developers this takes a lot of time, right? Perfect. This brings us to step number 3. Now, step number 3 is a fantastic step, which is again machine learning. One of the most important uses of machine learning is to be a pathway of how we can achieve artificial intelligence, right? Machine learning and deep learning are ways with which we can actually achieve artificial intelligence. And if you're a person who clicked on this video, I am certain that you know the importance of how data science is working towards artificial intelligence as well, right? The domain of AI. So in that particular cases, what we do with machine learning is we make sure that we train the machine to do the job for us. Now, as I told you, I can look at an image and say if it's a cat or a dog, but I want my machine to sit and do it. What if I have 10 million images, right? It'll probably take me a lot of time to do it, but it's probably a 5-minute job for my machine learning algorithm, right? So that is the particular case. So one important thing with machine learning that you have to know is that we're going to be training a machine in a way where it doesn't require our intervention all the time. So it will learn, it will understand, it will know what to do, and it will keep on doing that. So to go on to do this very, very accurately, to go on to do this in a nice way, which eventually gives us positive results that we can use, you have to look at the accuracy of the data. As I've been telling you, right, quantity of data is very important, but quality of data to back it up as well is very, very much vital here. So data science as a domain itself is very, very contemporary around the world of machine learning and deep learning, because a lot of people who are looking towards the domain are also interested in machine learning and deep learning. Of course, there's a lot of other things in this domain. Again, it's an ocean's worth of technology on its own, but these are popular as well, right? Now, to talk about another popular application, another popular implementation of how you can use technology to make your lives more convenient, here is data visualization. Data visualization, ladies and gentlemen, is the 4th step in our data science life cycle. So what happens in the case of data visualization is, sometimes whenever you're working with machine learning data or anything in the field of data science, it so happens that the output is usually only understood by a person who knows the domain, right? So it'll usually be a textual output, it'll be a result of a machine learning model, whatever it is. It can only be conveyed to a person if that person is, again, from a technical background, knows data science and all of that. But what if you are working with a client? What if you have to present your results to maybe someone in the board of directors or to your managers or someone who might not know the domain directly or to the depths as you might know it, right? So in that case, it becomes very important for you to understand of how you can convey a technical result to a non-technical audience. Data visualization is a fantastic way to do that, because here you are taking in a lot of textual data, a lot of things which can confuse you to your core, and you're breaking it down into simpler terms. You're making sure that you're creating beautiful looking graphs, visualization and dashboards. Once you go on to do this, you will have an understanding, you will have a different perspective of data. And of course, here's a fun fact: the human brain can comprehend images 3000 times faster than text, right? So, no wonder people love looking at images, because they can understand it 3000 times faster. So, when you have the choice of making someone understand something well a lot quicker, why would you not want to do it, right? It only adds value to do that. And another important thing is that when you go on to create these data visualizations, graphs, dashboards and all of that, it's not only for a case where you're trying to explain something to a non-technical audience. It is also that with these visualizations, you yourself analyzing the data, it becomes very very easy to a point where you can look at one graph, spend 5 minutes on it and say, hey, here is what the entire machine learning algorithm is doing, here's what my data is, here is what we were supposed to get, the results we're trying to predict, here is the results that we actually got. So you can have a graph for everything, compare it manually, compare it automatically. You can eventually set a goal at the start of your project, and you can realize that entire goal just at this step of data visualization. That's a very important thing that you guys have to know about, right? Wonderful. So data ingestion done, data cleaning done, machine learning done, data visualization done. Now the last step is key insights. This is where you are deriving a lot of value, right? So using these visualizations that I just spoke about, you can analyze where you went wrong in the past. That's a very important thing. Analysis of where things went wrong in the past, knowing where you can do the right thing ahead in the future is something that you guys should be looking towards as well. Not only corrections, not only damage controls, but predicting the future is also possible using a structured way like this, right? And of course, whenever you're taking a look at analyzing something like key performance indicators and all that, KPIs, right, it is usually done very very well if you have a graph saying, hey, here's the amount of time this resource had, here's the amount of work. So if you go on to linearly plot it, you can find an understanding of saying, hey, okay, so these were the indicators, this is where the performance lags for this candidate, whatever it is, right? I'm just giving you one example, but key insights is one of these stages where you will eventually fulfill your goal of whatever you set out to at the beginning of the data science project. So it's a very very important step, and it adds a lot of value, guys. Okay, so taking a look at your question, Vijay Khan says, "Sir, getting competitor data, is it realistic?" Of course, you might not know to the depths of which these big companies go into getting their competitors' data. Of course, all of it is legal, I hope. In a way where they understand what market they're targeting, why they are targeting that market, what are they getting out of it. So everything that's available publicly on a domain, apart from some of the data can all be scrapped, web scraping can be done and pulled in all the details and all that. So yes, it is definitely realistic. It is powering the world as we speak. I hope that answers your question, Vijay. Arpita asks, saying, can we get any project ideas about data science, data visualization by Great Learning? Arpita, that's a fantastic question. We have multiple videos here on the Great Learning YouTube channel for a lot of projects which are being implemented. And of course, I highly suggest you check out the data science courses section, in Great Learning Academy. So there you definitely will get access to multiple projects that you can, think about and work with as well. Right. Harshraj Singh says, Sir, do Great Learning provides best way to learn for beginners who are totally new students? Of course, Harsh. Again, you are just tuned into a session where we're talking about data science of beginners itself. We have multiple levels of approachability in terms of how you can learn the content: beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level, as you can see from our Great Learning Academy courses as well. Similarly, again, a similar thing is done on our YouTube videos as well. So it's most of the time we keep it to a wide audience base, so that all of you guys who are watching, regardless of you being a beginner or an intermediate person, can understand and take away something, right? So that's an important thing, right? Okay, guys, fantastic questions. Thank you so much. We are going to move on to the next section here, where we are going to talk about the components of data science. So I hope everything that we covered until now was clear to all of you all. Perfect. So now we're going to talk about the components of data science. Now, see, one very important thing that you have to understand that governs the entire life cycle that we just discussed, right? Right. So right from the project start all the way to you having given key insights about the project, there are so many components that are involved. But I think these four components you see on your screen right now are the most important things that you have to talk about and you have to discuss about whenever the talk is about this. So I find that it adds a lot of value that we eventually go on to go on to talk about this, guys. So give me 1 second. I just minimized the comments, so let me just open it up. Okay, perfect. So, as I'm saying, right, these four components are very, very important here: the data set, the programming language, a user interface, and the problem. Now, we're going to discuss all of these components individually. The first component that we're going to take a look at is the data set. Ladies and gentlemen, you tell me how you've been watching this session for somewhere around 35-40 minutes now. You tell me how important is data for data science, guys. Head to the chat box and let me know how important is data for data science. Right now, while you guys go on to actually give out an answer for that, I am sure you realize that it's very important, right? Literally in the name itself, data science, it says data. So data is the prime requirement here. Whatever is it the case, right? You want to perform data analysis, you require data. You want to go on to visualize something, you require data. You want machine learning applications based on it, you have to use data. And if you have a lot of data that requires data engineering, storage, you require data. So for no matter what you do in this domain, data sets are very, very important, right? So it forms to be the most important aspect, forms to be the most important uh, you know uh, you know place to get started with when you're working with data itself. So it's not only the quantity of data, as I mentioned again to reiterate, it's also the quality of the data that's going to have a direct correlation, a direct impact about the performance of how your solution is going to be like. Even if you're performing a very simple data analysis, if your data itself is wrong, it will impact it in a very bad way, right? So one very important thing that you have to learn from a component data set is to understand that data can be unclean. It is vital to clean it, it is vital to process it, and every time you ingest new data, go through it, see if everything is right, and then work on it, right? That's the first important component. Now, the second important component that we have to talk about is the programming language. Now, here is a very popular question that I always get asked whenever we're doing any of these, live sessions on data science, right? So, do we require a programming language to learn data science? My answer to that is going to be an absolute yes. See, the entire goal is to make sure you use the power, you use the computing power of your machines, you use a lot of data that's around you, and eventually go on to solve a problem with this domain, right? To do that, you have to communicate with your machine. To talk to your machine, you are going to require a programming language. You cannot use zeros and ones to talk directly to your computers, right? I mean, of course, the entire point of using a programming language is to avoid you using zeros and ones to talk to your computers. Now, for data science, there are multiple popular offerings out there, right? So you can start with programming languages such as Python and R. Python is a well-rounded programming language. It is considered to be the number one programming language across the globe today. And of course, you have R programming language. R is fantastic for data analysis as well, right? So to get started with, I highly suggest you take a look at Python and R. Later down the line, with respect to data visualization, with respect to data ingestion, you'll be learning SQL, you'll be learning Tableau, Power BI, a lot of different things. But just don't start out with learning 10 different things, which might get a little confusing. So hone in on it, start working on a programming language, and I highly suggest Python or R is a good place to go. Right now, another question is, how important is programming for data science? Well, if I had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, I definitely would rate it at a 9. It is a 9 out of 10 importance in terms of how one can go on to require programming languages, because in multiple stages, whenever you go on to solve a problem, you can manually solve the problem but to get an accurate results, but to get closer to the goal itself, you're going to require a programming language to do that for you. Maybe you're coding in a machine learning model and whatnot, right? So yeah. Machine learning is a very vital part of data science, as you already know, and programming languages definitely are a pathway to get there, right? So I hope component number two, which is programming languages, is clear to all of you all. Now to talk about component number three, which is a user interface, a development environment as we call it, right? Now see, it so happens that you can write Python code, but are there any ways to make that process also even more convenient for you, right? So, there's something called as IDEs, or it's called as integrated development environments. So these are environments, user interfaces, tools where you can actually go on to write your Python code and execute them. Right now there's multiple IDEs for Python. You can go on to use Google Colab, you can go on to use PyCharm, and of course a lot of different things. Now, when this is the case, why would you want to use an IDE, right? First of all, you'll have a better experience coding with it and an efficient result. In terms of better experience, see, whenever we write code, be it in data science or any other field, it is not like every time it works perfectly, right? Sometimes it has to be retested, sometimes it has to be verified, there'll be a lot of errors, there'll be a lot of bugs which need to be fixed and all of that. So to do this easily, to help you with debugging, to help you make sure that you can write code faster, sometimes whenever you're typing code in one of these IDEs, it'll automatically fill up the rest for you. So it's intelligent, it knows what you're about to type, right? So it again is saving a lot of time for you to manually type. So this time you can very much use to build a better logic, to work on different solutions, to think out of the box and all of that, right? So it's a very important thing that you use the correct development and environment as well. So the entire process of doing this activity is at the end of the day to make sure your coding experience is good, and it makes your programming, you as a programmer, efficient, and your program to eventually be high in its performance as well. So component number three, I hope all of you got it, is a very, very important component. Next, the fourth most important fourth most important component in the world of data science itself is the problem itself, right? See, to use the domain of data science to its fullest, you're using it to solve problems. Now, to solve problems, you have to realize that there are certain problems. So to understand that there is an existence of a problem, understanding that, hey, this is a problem and I can use data science to solve it, that becomes a component in itself, right? So this is a very important thing. The second thing that you'll have to take a look at is, as a programmer, if you have a problem in front of your mind, in front of your hand, whatever, how are the different ways that you can use to solve it? It is not like you just have one problem and you can solve it in only one way and no other way ever, right? So if you have one problem, there's a good chance there's 5 or 6 different ways of how you can solve it in that case as well. So how can you do it? This kind of a solution-based, solution-driven approach is something which is again very popularly found amongst data scientists for this very reason. It is a requirement to solve a problem in multiple ways, right? So when you're doing this activity, the end goal of it is to make sure that you're putting out the most efficient way that you're solving a problem, and of course doing this will lead to that. So that's a very important component that I thought you guys should definitely go on to think about, right? So what's your view on all of these, guys? Head to the comment section, let me know while I quickly get a gulp of water. Kashyap says data is the new oil for each and every cutting edge technologies. Of course, Kashyap, there is a reason why they call data as the new oil, right? There was a time when data was thrown about and people thought it wasn't necessary, and now everyone realizes that, hey, data is very important. So that's something. That's a good point there. And of course, with data and programming languages, both of these play a crucial role in the field of data science. Right, guys. Now we'll come to a section where we're going to discuss about having a career in data science. Right now, having a career in data science is definitely a fantastic thing because it is one among the top 10 careers out there ever. Now, to say that it is a good job, a best job, a sexiest job, there's a reason why it got all of these names. No matter what problem you can think of, there is a solution that you can use you can solve it by using data science. That is the reason why this domain is so popular. And if it is this popular, it means that right from the startups all the way to the multinational corporations, everyone will be using data science in one way or another. Even though they might not be directly hiring for a data scientist's role, there are so many things in every company that uses an aspect of data science, in my opinion. And that is one of the reasons why this is among the top 10 careers itself. It is always trending. There is always a constant requirement, no matter on what level you look at, fresher level, beginner level, experience level. There are people who are required for data science all the time. So it adds a lot of value for you as a learner. If you're looking towards making a switch, right, this is definitely a very good time to go on to do that. All right, perfectly. To add on to that, an important thing that we have to discuss about is to look at who a data scientist is, right? Now you might have a question saying, okay, so we learned a lot about data science, but who is this person who's called a data scientist? Well, I can tell you one thing is that a data scientist is a person who is very skilled at four different things. He or she has to be a programmer, he or she has to be a trend spotter, he or she has to be a mathematician, and of course, he or she has to be a business manager as well, right? Now, when I say he or she has to be a mathematician, first of all, data science is one of these domains that is governed a lot by statistics and mathematics, right? So when you teach a machine learning model how to work, all of those things are again looking towards mathematics to its utmost foundation as well. So it becomes very very important that you spend a good amount of time to go on to understand that, hey, mathematics is a very important requirement here. Knowing statistics is very important, so the mathematician side of it is good. The next thing is being a trend spotter. Now, if you are a person who's a trend spotter, you're going to understand what to look at, what is trending. So what product is going to be trending this summer? What's going on next winter? If you're a person who's selling clothes, chocolates and all that, you will be looking for the next big thing, so even you can make some money out of it, right? So knowing what programming language is trending, what tools are also trending is very much important, guys. So that's a very important thing that you guys have to know about. Then talking about being a programmer, of course, programming is a very, very important requirement as you already discussed. So I hope it adds a lot of value for you to know that a mathematician's role, a trend spotter's role, and a programmer's role is being filled by a data scientist. But look at the next one. It says business manager's role. Why would a data scientist also want to look towards business management? Good question. I'm going to answer that now. See, the first three guys, mathematicians, trend spotters, and programmers, who's a part of a data scientist himself or herself, can solve a problem, right? You can actually solve a problem in 10 days. But let's say there's a business requirement that says, hey, we want you to finish it in 5 days, right? In that particular case, to know that, hey, just as a person knowing that I can solve it is not enough. I need to be solving it to make sure I meet the company's requirement as well, and of course keep the client happy too. In that particular regard, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes very very important that you take a look towards understanding that, hey, a data scientist must also be responsible to know about the quality of the solution that is provided as well, right? So that's important, guys. And then when we talk about how we can take a look at the data science career after COVID-19, well, you guys head to the comment section right now and you let me know, what you think about it, right, guys? Again, I'm monitoring all of your questions, so make sure that you are putting it down. Right. Anu Chaudhary says, sir, can I get this video recording? Of course, Anu. As soon as the live session ends, it's going to be on YouTube itself, so you can check it out. You can watch the video again and again. It's going to be on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss the video here, right? Perfect. Now, guys, to talk about what happens after COVID-19, we are still living amongst the pandemic, right? But when you go back to maybe March of 2020, a lot of people were losing their jobs, right? People thought it's going to be a huge recession. And of course, a lot of companies, a lot of countries lost a lot of money. But one thing which stood out for me was data science. Because in this particular domain, what happened was that not a lot of people were getting laid off because there's a constant requirement for more people. Now, if you have 5 data scientists, scientists, if you require 5 more, why would you want to fire the ones that you already have, right? So this constant demand that had built up over the days made sure that this career itself is recession proof, where it was stable enough, right? So everywhere across the world, no matter what level, startup, a small company or an MNC, they are using a data scientist's role in one way or another. So in that particular case, this is a domain that's always going to be trending, and it proved in its absolute in the most absolute low that the world has seen in March 2020, that it is very bulletproof in terms of this, right? So if you are looking to start a career in data science, understand that it's a fantastic thing, to go on to do that. Right. The next point that you guys might be concerned about is to, take a look and understand towards working from home. Now, you have to understand that a lot of companies are very much okay with people working from home. So this opens up your role as a data scientist, maybe in another country or another continent as well. Maybe you're a person who can, who is looking forward to moving to a different country or something, or you want to work from your home for a company that exists in another country. So you can all do that now. The entire world, be it education, be it IT, whatever it is, right? They were sort of forced to work from home, and nowadays the trend has picked up in a way where you can find efficiency working from home. In that particular case, in fact, you can use data science itself to track what the employees are doing when they are at their home, right? So it's something which is an amazing thing. But the important thing that you have to focus on here is that there is an amazing amount of stability. There's a lot of growth that is being portrayed by data science. So at the end of the day, if you're looking to start your career, of course, there is no better time than now to get started with it, because over 70% of the job postings that ask for data scientists, right? It is usually for someone with less than 4 years of experience. So if you're a person who's still in college, you're a fresher, you have 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of experience, 70%, every time there's 100 jobs posted, there's a good chance 70 of them you can apply for, right? So this is a very, very, very important thing which does not happen in a lot of domain, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to know this, and understanding that there's a lot of things that's going to add a good amount of value for you in data science in your career. Well, it is something that is fruitful to know that, hey, the light at the end of the tunnel is amazing even before you begin walking towards it, right? Perfect. Now, here are some of the most popular data science designations. It's not only a data scientist's role that you will always be looking at, right? Now, of course, data scientist's role is one amazing role. Then you have a data analyst's role, a data engineer's role, and a BI analyst's role. Now, BI stands for business intelligence. It has to do with a lot of dashboarding, a lot of understanding how the business works itself and all of that. Data engineers usually work towards the data ingestion aspect of things. So they work with big data technologies to make sure that, your data is brought into the organization, stored, pre-processed, and all of that. And of course, after all of that is done, a data analyst's role is very much important to analyze the data, to derive some insight out of it. But if you have to get a deep dive into the data to understand what's really going on, or you're trying to solve a very complex problem, then at the end of the day, a data scientist will know the in and out of how to work with data, right? So it's a very important thing that you guys have to know about. Fantastic. Now to move on to the last section, guys. So I always get this question asked saying, hey Anirudh, okay, wonderful session, all we understood everything there is to know about data science in a quick fashion, but what is it that I can do further to add on to my knowledge, right? Well, of course, since you're already watching this on video, I highly suggest you start learning data science online. But an important thing that a lot of people forget about learning online is that there's a lot of content out there, right? Make sure you're not being overwhelmed by the amount of content. What happens is that it is very, very easy for you as a beginner to get confused with a lot of data that's present. You can look at, you can do a simple Google search, learn data science, and you can find millions of results, be it images, videos, blogs, courses, whatever it is, right? So even if you are trying to have a structured way of learning, sometimes it definitely becomes difficult to keep a track out of it. And what is the usual thing that people do when things get too difficult because they didn't know how to do it right? You usually quit, right? So our entire point here at Great Learning is to make sure that you guys are finish what you start. If you have started learning, if you're looking towards becoming an expert in data science, well, of course, we are going to do everything in our capacity to give you the highest quality content that you can use to learn to do it. And it's not only that I'm saying just use Great Learning's content out there, but an important thing is whenever we have these kind of live sessions or any sort of interactions, right, make sure you guys are participating in that, because here you get to talk with us experts. We've been doing this for a long time in the industry. You can discuss about how you can learn, you can understand what goes on in our minds when we talk about these concepts as well, right? For example, I am a subject matter expert when it comes to data science, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and all of these concepts. So when you talk to me, I can give you a lot of insights about what's happening in the industry itself and how you should learn to align yourself to the industry. So this is a very, very important point that I thought I should tell all of you guys, right? Perfect. Then the next question we get asked is, okay, so where can we look towards in the Great Learning ecosystem to find more free content on data science, right? Guys, there are three places where you can find curated content here at Great Learning for free. One is Great Learning Academy. I highly suggest you guys check out Great Learning Academy. It's an amazing place. It's an amazing initiative we have here where we are providing we're providing a lot of courses, 200 plus courses in multiple different languages, absolutely free of cost for you all. You can enroll in it for free, you can learn for free and earn a course completion certificate for free as well, right? How amazing is that? We have 200 plus courses, and if you want to learn all 200 of them, we highly doubt that you would want to, but you can do it. That is an important thing that you have to know about, right? Fantastic. Next, we have the Great Learning YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of people tuning into this session. I hope all of you all are subscribed to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, take 1 second, hit that subscribe button, and whenever we go on to put videos, you will be notified of the same. And I hope all of you guys are enjoying this session. If you do do take 1 second to hit that like button. It means a lot to me, and I hope that we have been able to have a wonderful session to give you a good amount of knowledge, right? So take 1 second to hit that like button to show us your appreciation, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, coming on to the third thing where you can learn, we have access to more free content, is Great Learning blogs. Now, for all the people who love reading, for example, I'm a person who absolutely loves reading, right? So usually I find myself reading technical blogs, understanding what's going on before I watch a video about the same. So if you are one of these persons like me as well, you can you'll highly appreciate Great Learning blogs. Again, these are blogs who are written by subject matter experts and people who have been doing this for a long time. So you can read those blogs, watch videos on our Great Learning YouTube channel. You can go on to Great Learning Academy, get yourself a free course completion certificate by learning again, enrolling into multiple courses, and working towards your expertise, right? But then, guys, one important point that I have to mention for all of you all is that all of these free content is definitely an amazing place to get started with. It's going to give you a lot of information for you guys to begin with. But if you're a person who's looking towards becoming an expert in the domain, if you're a person who's looking to become thorough, you want to be handheld from being a beginner all the way to going to becoming an expert, right? It is very important that you look towards the specializations that are offered, and of course the post-graduation offerings we have here at Great Learning as well. We have multiple post-graduation programs, MTech programs, and Masters of Science programs in the case of data science, business analytics, data engineering, machine learning, and a lot of different things, right? So ladies and gentlemen, all of these are programs which are done in collaboration with some of the most fantastic universities across the globe. Texas McCombs, Great Lakes, Northwestern, Stanford. We have multiple programs with respect to multiple colleges, and the best part is this: you get to learn from the faculty of all of these top colleges as well. How amazing is that, right? So it's a very important thing that you guys know this. You will be mentored, you will have one-to-one mentorship, and at the end of the day, in terms of how you can go on to learn in a very structured way, learn from the experts, be mentored one-on-one, and knowing that at the end of this course, whatever you opt in for, you will be left as a complete expert in the domain. You would have worked on so many different projects, so many use cases. You would have put in a lot of months worth of effort learning it, and you get certificates from these colleges and from Great Lakes as well, right? So it adds a lot of value to know that, hey, I learned something, I am power packed with knowledge, and I have a certificate, a certificate of completion to showcase this as well, right? So how cool is this, guys? So you can find more details about this on the Great Learning website. There's a lot of different programs. If you're looking towards data science, we have multiple courses, as you can see. For example, let me open up one of these courses, which is our data science and business analytics courses. This is considered to be one of the most, the number one course, India's number one course for data science as well. You will find a lot of reasons of why you should pick up these courses: comprehensive curriculum, mentorship, career assistance, and a lot more. So you can read a lot in depth about this course, right? At the end of it, you will get a certificate from University of Texas at Austin, which looks like this, and of course a certificate from Great Lakes, which looks like this as well, right? So how cool is that? Talking about the curriculum, you can download the entire brochure for the entire program here, but you can definitely take a look at each individual module: introduction to data science, what you're going to learn there, business finance, data science techniques, domain exposure, visualization. You will have a capstone project where you'll be working under the guidance of experts, where you can showcase your thorough knowledge. You'll get career assistance and of course a post-graduation certificate from the University of Texas at Austin. You'll be learning languages such as Python, R, Tableau, SAS, SQL, and a lot more. And of course, you can see the capstone projects you'll be working on as well, right? So we have 1,000 plus projects in 22 plus domains, and of course we have 3 papers that are published at IIM Bangalore as well. So you can get a complete detail about everything that is there to know about. You can get to know the faculty who are going to be teaching you, training you in this particular courses. You can take a look at the mentors. All of these guys are subject matter experts, and you will find a complete section to talk about the advantage of enrolling with Great Learning, right? So guys, if you keep keep scrolling down, you'll find the reviews, you'll find FAQs, you'll find the fees, the program fees as well. So this is 11-month program where you get 225 plus hours of online learning content. There's a million advantages that we can talk about for this, but then at the end of the day, hey guys, an important point that I have to mention is to make sure that even if you're a person who's looking towards any sort of financial assistance as well, right? So you can usually pay the course fee with our partnerships. So we have multiple corporate financial partnerships where you can get education loans at 0% interest rate. Again, all of these are based on terms and conditions, so make sure you guys are checking that out. But understand that we here at Great Learning are doing everything we can to make sure to bring you the highest quality of learning material possible, right? So guys, with that, we have come to the end of this session. I hope all of you all had a lot to take away from this session. I hope with this you guys have a good start to go on with your data science career. It adds a lot of value only to further increase your knowledge on this, so I highly suggest you check out the other videos that we have for data science on the Great Learning YouTube channel. We have put out a 11-hour data science tutorial which you guys can definitely use to get started. It's on the channel itself. Again, I have handled and I have taught data science for the entirety of the 11 hours that you're going to see, so make sure you guys are checking that out. Make sure you guys are checking out Great Learning Academy. Subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel. It adds a lot of value for you, and of course it supports us as well, right? So guys, on that note, again, I hope all of you guys are keeping safe from the ongoing pandemic. Take all the required measures. As always, you guys have been a fantastic audience. I'm more than excited to see you on the next one. So until then, keep your learning up. I'll see you. Cheers, guys.